Have you ever found yourself hesitating before stepping off a curb or reaching for something on a high shelf, wondering if your body is still as strong as it used to be? Maybe you've heard that little voice in your head saying, "Be careful, you don't want to fall." It's a feeling many of us start to notice more as we get older, especially after 65. Our bones, those trusty pillars that have carried us through decades of adventures, start to feel a little less invincible. But here's the good news. You have more control over your bone health than you might think, and it starts with something as simple as what you put on your plate every day. I'm so glad you're here today because we're going to talk about something that can make a real difference in your life. How to keep your bones strong and prevent fractures as you enjoy your golden years. Fractures aren't just inconvenient. They can steal your independence, keep you from doing the things you love, and even lead to longer recovery times. But the right foods can help you build and maintain strong bones, reduce the risk of breaks, and keep you moving with confidence. In this video, we're going to dive into the best foods to prevent bone fractures after 65, sharing practical tips and easy ways to incorporate them into your daily routine. Whether you love cooking, grabbing quick snacks, or even eating out, there's something here for everyone. Now, before we get started, let me tell you why this matters so much. As we age, our bones naturally lose density. It's like the framework of a house settling over time. It's normal, but it means we need to give our bodies extra support to stay sturdy. After 65, a fall or even a small stumble can lead to a fracture, especially in places like your hips, wrists, or spine. But here's the thing. Eating the right foods can help slow that bone loss, strengthen your skeleton, and even improve your balance and muscle strength to prevent falls in the first place. It's not about overhauling your entire diet overnight. It's about making small, smart choices that add up to big results. So, let's dive into the first food that's a powerhouse for your bones: dairy products. You've probably heard since you were a kid that milk is good for your bones, and there's a reason for that. Dairy foods like milk, yogurt, and cheese are packed with calcium, which is the building block of strong bones. Calcium is like the cement that keeps your bones dense and resilient. As we get older, our bodies don't absorb calcium as efficiently, so we need to be intentional about getting enough. A single cup of milk, whether it's whole, skim, or even lactose-free, can give you about 300 milligrams of calcium. That's a big step toward the 1,200 milligrams a day that most people over 65 need. But dairy isn't just about calcium. It's also a great source of protein, which helps maintain the muscles that support your bones. Strong muscles mean better balance and fewer falls. And don't worry if you're not a big milk drinker. Yogurt is a fantastic option, especially the plain, Greek kind. It's creamy, filling, and you can jazz it up with a handful of berries or a drizzle of honey. A single serving of Greek yogurt can pack in 20 grams of protein and a good chunk of calcium. Cheese is another winner. Think a slice of cheddar on a sandwich or a sprinkle of Parmesan over your pasta. Even small amounts add up. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. What if I'm lactose intolerant or just don't like dairy? That's okay. There are plenty of non-dairy options we'll get to later, but for now, let me share a quick story. My friend Margaret, who's 68, used to skip dairy because she thought it was too heavy. But after a doctor's visit showed her bone density was lower than ideal, she started adding a small glass of milk to her morning routine and a scoop of yogurt as an afternoon snack. She told me she feels stronger and even noticed her energy levels are better. It's amazing how small changes can make such a big difference. Here's a simple way to make dairy work for you. Try a smoothie. Blend a cup of milk or yogurt with a banana and some frozen strawberries. It's quick, delicious, and you're getting calcium, protein, and even some vitamins from the fruit. If you're out and about, grab a yogurt parfait from a coffee shop or a cheese stick from the grocery store. These are easy ways to sneak dairy into your day without feeling like you're forcing it. But let's say you're still not sold on dairy or you need alternatives. That brings us to our next bone-boosting food: leafy green vegetables. Think kale, spinach, collard greens, or even broccoli. These greens are like nature's multivitamin for your bones. They're loaded with calcium, but they also bring another key player to the table: vitamin K. Vitamin K is like the traffic director for calcium. It helps make sure the calcium gets to your bones and doesn't end up in places it shouldn't, like your arteries. Take kale, for example. 1 cup of cooked kale gives you about 200 milligrams of calcium, plus a hefty dose of vitamin K. And don't let the idea of greens intimidate you. You don't have to be a gourmet chef to enjoy them. Toss a handful of spinach into your morning eggs for a quick scramble, or try roasting broccoli with a little olive oil and garlic. It's so tasty you'll forget it's good for you. My neighbor Tom, who's 70, started adding collard greens to his soups after his doctor recommended more calcium-rich foods. He says it's become his secret ingredient for hearty, comforting meals. Here's a tip to make greens even easier. Keep a bag of pre-washed spinach or kale in your fridge. You can throw a handful into almost anything: soups, pasta, even a sandwich. If you're not a fan of the taste, blend them into a smoothie with some fruit to mask the flavor. The key is to make it simple and sustainable, so you stick with it. Now, one thing to keep in mind with greens is that they also contain something called oxalates, which can make it harder for your body to absorb calcium. That's why variety is so important. Don't rely on just one green. Mix it up with kale one day, broccoli the next, and maybe some bok choy in a stir-fry. This way, you're getting the benefits without overloading on any one thing. Before we move on, let me share a quick idea for a meal that combines both dairy and greens. Picture this: a warm bowl of creamy broccoli cheddar soup. You've got the calcium from the cheese and milk, plus the vitamin K and extra calcium from the broccoli. It's comforting, easy to make, and feels like a treat while doing your bones a favor. You can find simple recipes online, or just grab a can of soup from the store and add some fresh broccoli for a homemade touch. So, we've covered dairy and leafy greens, 2 fantastic foods to keep your bones strong and fracture-free. But there's more to this story, and it's all about building a plate that works for you and your lifestyle. Let's keep going and explore another food that's going to make your bones thank you. So, we've been talking about how dairy and leafy greens can work wonders for keeping your bones strong and fracture-free after 65. These foods are like the foundation of a sturdy house, giving your skeleton the support it needs to keep you moving with confidence. But there's another food that's just as important, and it's one you might already have in your pantry: nuts and seeds. These little powerhouses are packed with nutrients that make your bones tougher and your body more resilient. Let's start with almonds. Just a small handful, about an ounce, gives you a good dose of calcium, magnesium, and even a bit of protein. Magnesium is a big deal because it works hand in hand with calcium to keep your bones dense. Think of calcium as the bricks and magnesium as the mortar that holds everything together. Without enough magnesium, your body can't use calcium as effectively, and that's where almonds come in. They're also easy to eat. Toss them into your oatmeal, sprinkle them over a salad, or just grab a handful as a snack. My cousin Linda, who's 67, keeps a little jar of almonds in her car for when she's running errands. She says it's her go-to when she needs a quick boost, and it's doing her bones a favor at the same time. But almonds aren't the only stars in the nut and seed family. Chia seeds and sesame seeds are fantastic too. Chia seeds are tiny, but don't let their size fool you. They're loaded with calcium and omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation and keep your joints flexible. You can mix a tablespoon of chia seeds into your yogurt or blend them into a smoothie. They don't have much flavor, so they're super versatile. Sesame seeds, on the other hand, add a nutty crunch and are great sprinkled over stir-fries or even on toast with a little avocado. 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds can give you about 90 milligrams of calcium, which adds up when you make them a regular part of your meals. Here's a fun idea. Try making a trail mix with almonds, chia seeds, and a few dried apricots. It's a portable snack that's perfect for a walk in the park or an afternoon with the grandkids. Plus, the dried fruit adds a touch of sweetness and even more bone-friendly nutrients like potassium, which helps balance out the acids in your body that can weaken bones over time. The key with nuts and seeds is to keep portions small. About a 1/4 cup a day is plenty, since they're calorie-dense. But those calories are packed with goodness, so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, nuts are great, but what about my dentures or digestion? If chewing is a challenge, try almond butter instead. Spread it on a piece of whole grain toast or mix it into your morning porridge. It's smooth, delicious, and still gives you all the bone-boosting benefits. For seeds, you can grind chia or sesame seeds into a powder and sprinkle it into soups or sauces. It's all about finding what works for you and your body. Speaking of finding what works, let's move on to another food that's a game changer for your bones: fatty fish. Think salmon, mackerel, sardines, or even canned tuna. These fish are like a treasure chest of nutrients, especially vitamin D and omega-3s. Vitamin D is critical because it's what helps your body absorb calcium. You can eat all the calcium-rich foods in the world, but without enough vitamin D, it's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. Things just won't come together right. After 65, our skin doesn't make vitamin D from sunlight as well as it used to, and many of us don't get enough from food alone. That's where fatty fish come in. Take salmon, for example. A 3-ounce serving of cooked salmon gives you about 600 IU of vitamin D, which is close to the 800 IU most seniors need daily. It's also rich in omega-3s, which help keep your joints lubricated and reduce the risk of inflammation that can weaken bones over time. Sardines are another great choice, and they're a budget-friendly option. A small can of sardines packed in oil can give you over 300 milligrams of calcium, thanks to those tiny, edible bones. Plus, a big dose of vitamin D. If you're not sure about sardines, try them mashed up on a cracker with a little mustard or lemon juice. It's surprisingly tasty. I remember my friend George, who's 71, telling me he was never a fish guy until he started grilling salmon for his weekly dinners. He said it's become his favorite meal, and he feels better knowing he's doing something good for his bones and heart. If cooking fish feels like too much work, canned options like tuna or sardines are just as nutritious and super convenient. You can toss them into a salad or make a quick sandwich with some whole grain bread and a slice of tomato. Here's a simple way to get more fatty fish into your week. Aim for 2 servings, about 3 to 4 ounces each. That could be salmon one night and a tuna salad for lunch later in the week. If fish isn't your thing, don't worry. We'll talk about other vitamin D sources in a bit. But for now, try experimenting with fish in ways that feel approachable. Maybe start with a salmon burger patty from the freezer section or a can of sardines as a protein-packed snack. One thing to keep in mind with fish is to choose sustainable, low-mercury options. Salmon and sardines are generally safe bets, but if you're eating tuna, go for light tuna over albacore, as it has less mercury. Little tweaks like this make a big difference over time. So, we've covered nuts and seeds and fatty fish, both of which are like secret weapons for stronger bones. These foods aren't just good for preventing fractures, they're also delicious and versatile, so you can enjoy them in ways that fit your life. Let's keep exploring how to build a diet that keeps you strong and steady for years to come. We've been diving into some fantastic foods to keep your bones strong and help prevent fractures after 65, like dairy, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, and fatty fish. Each one is like a piece of a puzzle, coming together to build a stronger, more resilient you. Now, let's add another piece to that puzzle: fortified foods. These are everyday items like cereals, orange juice, or plant-based milks that have been boosted with extra nutrients to give your bones a helping hand. They're especially great if you're looking for convenient ways to get more calcium and vitamin D without changing much about your routine. Take fortified orange juice, for example. A lot of brands add calcium and vitamin D, so you're getting a double dose of bone-building goodness in every glass. An 8-ounce serving can give you about 300 milligrams of calcium and a nice chunk of vitamin D, plus the vitamin C in the juice helps with overall tissue repair, which is important for keeping your body strong. It's as simple as pouring a glass with breakfast or sipping it as a refreshing mid-morning treat. My friend Susan, who's 69, started drinking fortified orange juice instead of her usual coffee first thing in the morning. She says it wakes her up and makes her feel like she's starting the day on the right foot for her health. Cereals are another great option. Many brands, especially those marketed as whole grain or healthy, are fortified with calcium, vitamin D, and sometimes even magnesium. Check the box for ones that have at least 200 milligrams of calcium per serving. Pair it with some fortified almond milk or regular milk, and you've got a breakfast that's quick, tasty, and packed with bone-supporting nutrients. Just watch out for cereals with too much added sugar. Look for ones with less than 8 grams per serving to keep things balanced. A bowl of fortified cereal with a sliced banana or a handful of almonds is like a 1-2 punch for your bones and your energy levels. Plant-based milks, like almond, soy, or oat milk, are also worth mentioning, especially if you're avoiding dairy. Most of these are fortified with calcium and vitamin D to match or even exceed what you'd get from cow's milk. A cup of fortified soy milk, for instance, can give you about 300 milligrams of calcium and a good dose of vitamin D. It's perfect for smoothies, pouring over cereal, or even using in your coffee. The key is to shake the carton well before pouring, since the nutrients can settle at the bottom. Here's a quick tip. When you're shopping, look for the word fortified on the label and check the nutrition facts to see how much calcium and vitamin D you're getting. It's an easy way to make sure you're choosing products that pull their weight. And don't feel like you have to stick to just one fortified food. Mix it up with orange juice one day, cereal the next, and maybe a latte made with fortified almond milk as a treat. Variety keeps things interesting and ensures you're covering all your bases. One thing I love about fortified foods is how they fit into any lifestyle. Whether you're a busy retiree always on the go or someone who loves leisurely mornings at home, these foods are low effort and high reward. Try keeping a box of fortified cereal in your pantry or a carton of fortified milk in your fridge for those days when you need something quick. It's like having a safety net for your bones. Now, let's talk about one more food group that's a must for strong bones: beans and legumes. These might not be the first things that come to mind when you think of bone health, but they're unsung heroes. Beans like black beans, navy beans, or chickpeas are rich in calcium, magnesium, and even a bit of protein, all of which help keep your bones dense and your muscles strong. A half cup of cooked navy beans, for example, can give you about 60 milligrams of calcium and a good dose of magnesium, plus fiber to keep your digestion on track. Legumes are also incredibly versatile. You can toss chickpeas into a salad, blend them into hummus for a dip with veggies, or add black beans to a hearty soup. My neighbor Carol, who's 72, swears by her weekly chili made with kidney beans and a mix of spices. She says it's her comfort food, and she loves knowing it's helping her stay strong. Beans are also budget-friendly, which is a bonus if you're watching your grocery bill. A can of beans costs less than $1 and can stretch into multiple meals. If you're new to beans, start small to avoid any digestive discomfort. A quarter cup a day is a great place to begin, and you can gradually increase from there. Rinse canned beans well to remove excess sodium, or try cooking dried beans in a slow cooker for a fresher flavor. Pair them with some of the foods we've already talked about, like a spinach salad with chickpeas or a bowl of chili topped with a dollop of Greek yogurt, for a meal that's a bone health powerhouse. Here's a simple recipe idea. Try a bean and veggie wrap. Take a whole grain tortilla, spread some hummus, add a handful of spinach, a scoop of black beans, and a sprinkle of shredded cheese. Roll it up, and you've got a lunch that's packed with calcium, vitamin K, magnesium, and protein. It's portable, delicious, and takes just minutes to make. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to think about how all these foods, dairy, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, fatty fish, fortified foods, and beans, work together. It's not about eating one magic food. It's about creating a plate that's colorful, varied, and full of nutrients that support your bones and your overall health. You don't have to be perfect every day. Even small changes, like adding a glass of fortified orange juice or a handful of almonds, can add up over time. You're doing something amazing for yourself by watching this and thinking about your health. These foods are your tools to stay active, independent, and ready for whatever adventures come your way. Whether that's gardening, playing with your grandkids, or just enjoying a walk in the sunshine. Keep experimenting with these foods. Find what you love and make them a part of your life. I'd love to hear how it's going for you, so drop a comment below and share your favorite bone-boosting foods or recipes. If you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more tips to live your best life at any age. Here's to strong bones and a vibrant, healthy you.